He's doing well. He was in a very good mood today. When I arrived, he greeted me, saying, "Hello, my arm is twice the size of his."
Madam Vice President, could you please clarify what Miss Elizabeth stated? Many of our fellow citizens are genuinely concerned, believing former President Degung is emaciated.
What is the context, madam? He has indeed lost a lot of weight. You've never seen him this thin, perhaps not since his youth. Yes, even more so. So he has lost significant weight. His arm, for example, is now half the size. His arm appears much smaller. However, regarding his health, madam, he is fine. We have not asked him if he has any complaints, and he maintains he feels no discomfort. He is doing well in that regard, as he is not in the hospital section of the facility. He is in a regular detention unit. All Filipinos are genuinely praying former President Duterte's swift recovery, as we are more than ready to welcome him back into the outside world. Indeed, yet, many are praying for the dismissal of the case based on jurisdiction. The decision is still pending, so interim release could be granted.
Madam, does former President Duterte have a message for our countrymen worldwide? He stated, "I did what I had to do for my country, and I have no regret."
Regarding my actions, madam, did you inform him that Filipinos will never cease their support, as demonstrated by the yes vote? We mentioned your presence here. We also informed him about the Walk for Duterte held on July 5 here in The Hague. Additionally, we mentioned the events in Davao City and Cebu on July 6, highlighting support for Duterte. He is aware of these gatherings and the upcoming event on July 19th. Madam, I will also inform him about July 19th, which is not tomorrow, and I also conveyed that someone has offered perpetual grace for him, meaning he is remembered in daily prayer. Madam Vice President, do you have a message for all our countrymen who support us? First and foremost, it is a message of profound gratitude. We consistently and repeatedly thank our countrymen worldwide for their unwavering support and love for former President Rodrigo Duterte. We understand their concern, which we share, particularly regarding his age and health. Furthermore, we comprehend their frustration with this case, as there is real basis for the charges. I hope the petition for dismissal based on jurisdiction will be granted. Madam Vice President, on a different note, what is your opinion on Senator Zubiri's statement that the impeachment complaint against you constitutes a witch? It's a witch hunt, not witchcraft. That much is certain, because I am actively resisting such attempts. Absolutely not. They were instructed to ask limited questions about the Office of the Vice President's budget proposal, specifically concerning confidential funds. It was evident they were reading from a script for all these questions, which centered entirely on confidential funds. This was the source of their information for the attack, and now we understand that the source of their information for the impeachment. If you recall, the presiding member of the House at the time, Stella Kimball, explicitly stated on record, "Let's stick to our plan." That said, next, we witnessed their acquisition of confidential records from the Commission on Audit. They utilized their position within the House of Representatives to obtain these documents from the COA. They even convened a hearing to lend a semblance of legitimacy to this illegal acquisition of documents from the Commission. You observed that when they failed to find any missteps or factual errors in what was done, they proceeded directly to the impeachment process. And in the impeachment, you saw all 4 articles were presented, precisely because they are incapable of formulating a complaint that is factual and supported by credible evidence. Therefore, the reality of the situation is no longer hidden from most of our countrymen. They clearly see what transpired. My question concerns Attorney CF's reaction to Justice Secretary Remula's statement, asserting that the evidence was allegedly deemed undisclosed. Consequently, it cannot be filed in a local court in the Philippines, and the matter is being brought before the International Criminal Court. Attorney Kaufman indicated that former President Rodrigo R. Duterte took no action regarding the destruction of evidence. This is a criminal offense.
Madam, what is your reaction to Secretary Romola's statement that there is no longer any evidence? Many Filipinos are questioning what kind of evidence will be presented before the ICC if none exists in the Philippines. This suggests the possibility of fabricated evidence, and we also possess proof that other evidence was obtained through force, intimidation, or harassment. We will see that unfold very soon. Regarding the State of the Nation address, will you be attending? Certainly.
I will not attend the SONA. It confirmed our gathering with the Filipino community here in The Hague. Do you plan to visit other areas in Europe? No, I am strictly here in The Hague for the duration of my arrival was on July 5th, and I will depart on July 23rd. My daughter, Honey, will then arrive. So effectively, I will be out of the country during the SONA. My departure from The Hague is on July 23rd. We are currently maximizing our 4 weekly visitor slots at the detention unit as permitted. My reaction to the Philippine government paying for 4 witnesses to cooperate with the ICC is frank. Firstly, they claimed a lack of evidence, yet now they are reportedly funding witnesses' travel expenses. This is regrettable, especially given their slow response in assisting our compatriots affected by the chaos in Iran and Israel. It is evident, and the public clearly observes, a misalignment in this administration's priorities. It appears to be solely focused on political maneuvering and disparagement, prioritizing politics over the— Madam, on a separate note, I wish to follow up on a previous question. Both President Duterte and President Marcos have stated that we should cease politicking and focus on— Perhaps he should have looked in the mirror when he advocated for an end to political games, as they are the ones engaging in such activities. Our actions are merely in response. Attorney Harry Roque, are you also a casualty, given your known alliance and close professional relationship with President Duterte? We are not initiating attacks, we are merely providing responses and Therefore, the administration should cease these actions and concentrate on what is necessary for the people. The special affirmative defenses in impeachment proceedings are not subject to being carried over, which would bar the impeachment. How confident are you that the 7 initial articles of impeachment will be heard? I believe many of those involved are legal professionals, and others are supported by legal counsel. They should prioritize addressing the validity of the complaints and the crossover when making— Regarding the trial's transition from the 19th to the 20th Congress, the notice of disallowance for the 4th quarter of the confidential fund is currently under appeal, and there has been no resolution regarding its appearance. We do not have that information yet. I will check with the Office of the Vice President. Thank you, Madam. I know you have addressed this previously, but how is my— Yes, regarding former President Duterte, I was about to explain how slender he has become. He is extremely thin, to a degree I have never witnessed before. Perhaps only in his youth did I see him this thin. In an old photograph, his arm was half the size of mine, illustrating just how thin he is. From my perspective, he looks good in his current slender state. Compared to his previous physique with a large belly, which appeared unhealthy and concerning for his heart, I prefer him this way, quite slim. You mentioned an odor about him that concerns his devoted— Yes, I conveyed that to him. As I said earlier, we understand the concern because his weight loss is not voluntary. It stems from a loss of appetite, perhaps due to his current circumstances, and undoubtedly because the traditional Filipino cuisine he is accustomed to is not available. And one final question from the press. Did you hear about our Unity Walk on July 5th? Yes, I did. I also saw the videos. I mentioned that I was 7 kilometers away, and I also informed former President Duterte about the Unity Walk held on July 5th. I also informed him about the Run for Duterte fun runs in Davao City and Cebu on July 6th. I will relate to him tomorrow what he said about the 19th, as I momentarily forgot to mention it earlier while providing up. Regarding the events that transpired, I will provide an update tomorrow on future developments.